Yo, what's going on YouTube? It's Jordan here, bringing you episode 6 of our Draft to Glory series with the Saskatoon Bison here in NHL 26. So, before we get into the retirements, the draft interviews, and ultimately the draft, we do have a couple of comments to go over. Both comments come from Scottish Terrier Lover. The first one says, I would take a defenseman and a second line center for the future in the next draft. And that's what we're hopefully going to be doing today. Remember, we talked about getting Tuzzolino and so yeah, we talked about if we can't get Tuzzolino, who do we take? Probably Shannon Bailey, which is where his next comment comes. If not Tuzzolino, I would go for Bailey and pair him up with the left wing power forward you have. So we did talk about Tuzzolino. We do need defense in a major way. We do have some good forward prospects, and we'll stack forwards pretty much in every draft from this one moving on. But we do really need that one more like stud defenseman, and that's where Tuzzolino comes in. But if we cannot take him, then we will be taking Shannon Bailey. He's that second line center of the future, or potentially the first line center, because remember, McKenna can always play the wing. And then his last comment says that we should try to get a head coach with high teaching rating because it can up the player's potential when they have good seasons. So this is our coach, Jeff Blashill. He's got A teaching. It is high. It obviously could be higher, so that is something we will look for in this episode to see if we can't get a better coach with a better teaching. All right, so here we go. Let's hop right into the draft. We already know the players we want to target. Hopefully they drop for us. And Neil goes first overall. He's a playmaker, medium elite. And Klimchuk goes second overall. So our defenseman did drop for us. I am going to take Tuzzolino. He is the guy we want. Our scouts had him at 2. He drops for us at 3rd. With the 3rd pick in the 2029 NHL entry draft, the Saskatoon Bison are proud to select from Turku TPS in the Liga, Marty Tuzzolino. So there you go, guys. We got our offensive defenseman, Tuzzolino. He's going to pair up really nice in the D pairings with Siegel, or potentially they'll be the 1-2 combo split up. And now we just see here if there's any hidden gems. I don't think so. We kind of knew what was going to be out there. And now we pray our defenseman drops to us at pick 34. Let's see. Did he drop? He did, guys. So we are going to add Swanson here. These are the 2 defensemen we're going to draft in this episode. We knew Swanson's going to be NHL ready. Now from here, it's all about the forwards. So we are going to draft here Kirk Jonas. He is the gem. If we don't draft him now, we won't get the chance. So we're going to take a risk here. But he's a gem. He should be probably low elite or high top 6 forward. It's just a matter of when he'll be NHL ready. All right, guys, we got Malik Gallagher here as well as Edgar Odelian. These are our low top 6 forwards that we have pinned. We're not going to draft them yet. We're going to take a look at forwards here, sort by potential, and just see what else might be out there. Because we'll be able to draft both these guys with our last 2 picks. And just a reminder, or maybe if this is your first video, for one, I do encourage you to go back, start at episode 1, and get a lay of the land. But also, guys, from the mistake of not re-signing our goalie, we did make a trade, even though this is a draft to glory. We only made the trade to get our goalie back. We way overpaid, and we had to sacrifice a 4th round pick for that. So we only have 6 picks in this draft. And I'm going to reach here on Joachim Heikkinen. Let's see. He's a center right wing playmaker. He's got 3 bars of top 6 forward, so hopefully he can be that for us. And now we'll make sure here we draft our low top 6 forwards. So first one up, Malik Gallagher. And then with our last pick, we will be taking Edgar Odelian. All right, guys, right off the bat here, we're going to start off by releasing Tumala. We're also going to release Donovan as well. Any of these guys that we did not draft now, they're in the high 70s, we're going to let go of. If we need players to fill out the rosters, we will sign low 70 overall players, maybe even 60 overall players who will not develop, just so that we can make sure that it's our prospects leading the way. And there's a few we still have, like Tony Nato and Kozak. They have one more year left, so we'll make sure to use them up as well. And this is a big offseason for us because we have to re-sign Gavin McKenna. He does not want an 8-year deal, although we're going to try to offer him one. I'm thinking 12.6 is pretty fair. He doesn't want to come back on an 8-year deal, but I think if we throw in the no move clause and we pay him that 12.6, that hopefully he will say yes. And now moving forward, we're going to have to be really careful with our money. We've got our franchise forward going to be locked up for $12+ million, defenseman for $12.5+ million. So now we have to be careful, and we will try to use wisely 2- and 3-year deals to make sure we stay cap compliant. But now I'm just going to go through off camera, sign the rest of our players, and then we will take a look at some coaches and some scouts. Also, really quickly, before I do the rest of the re-signing, I just wanted to go over our draft class, which honestly, this might be the best draft class we've had yet. We've got probably a top 6 high forward here in Kirk Jonas, hopefully, or a low elite. We've got our medium elite defenseman here in Tezzolino. We've got this NHL ready. We do know that from the draft class, that he is NHL ready, top 4 defenseman, as well as these 2 top 6 low forwards and probably a 3rd top 6 low forward. Honestly, I'm really happy with this draft class. And now we know going ahead, we have to focus on forwards. That's who we'll draft with our first overall pick next draft, as well as just make sure we really focus scouting forwards and just drafting as many as we can so that hopefully a few of them turn out to be studs for us. All right, guys, just quickly here before we move on from the re-sign phase, Boris, I believe his first name, Boris Semenov. We drafted this guy in 2027. We never signed him at all, but he is up to a 74 overall. I believe he never played for us. He stayed in Russia. So it looks like he'll be the starting goalie in the NHL next year. And a fringe starter already at 74. This could be the guy while we wait for DeMarchi, who is confirmed medium elite now. I don't remember if he for sure was. But yeah, we can see all of our goalies. We didn't let anyone go, but next year, probably Grigori or Devin's going to be let go to make room in the system for DeMarchi. So now we'll just advance a day, guys, and see what happens here with McKenna. He accepted the offer. Let's go. So we're able to keep him for under 13 mil. There's our pillar. Just need to make sure. We have nobody else expiring. Nobody in net. Only DeMarchi remains unsigned. All of our other skaters are signed. And again, I have the paper wrote down here with what I want the lines to look like, as well as the overalls. And we have a full D-core in the NHL and AHL, so injuries will be on this year. And we have 4 extra forwards that we've drafted, so we have guys to call up for injury replacements. So this video could be a little bit longer in the sim because of that. Okay, guys, I'm here looking at the coaches. There is not a whole lot. They're all A- or higher. We can see here A+, A+, and then Cunningham here only is the B-. What I'm going to do is actually hold off on a coach. We're going to wait until we get into the regular season. We'll watch for coaches getting fired, but that way it allows me to see what players the coach will fit, because I don't really care if this coach fits Gaucher. You know, he doesn't really fit Kuznetsov and Pugh, who are two out of our 3 big stud forwards. That doesn't work for me. You know, if this coach really doesn't fit, Siegel very well, it's not really a good fit. That's our all-star defenseman. And we can only see 5 or 6 of the players. Like, I can't tell how these coaches fit with McKenna. And obviously, a coach is not going to fit with everybody. But if we can make sure that a coach fits with our big named guys as best we can, and we can kind of fit everybody else around that. So we're going to hold off till we can see it all. So I'm going to cut now to the regular season. I'm just going to do some behind the scenes. I'll get an AHL coach down there, as well as we're going to need to get some new scouts, but I'll do all that off camera and I'll meet you guys back here in the regular season. All right, guys, here we are at the start of the regular season. So, first line for this year is going to be Suter with McKenna and Pugh. I'm trying to spread the wealth a little bit. Pugh, he did not have the best first season there, only 33 points. We needed him to get some growth, so playing him with McKenna for an entire year should be really good. And now Kuznetsov is going to play with Lieutenant and Chung. So Suter and Lieutenant, both 74 overall in the resign phase, should be 75, 76 overall once they're fully confirmed. Same thing there. It appears everybody is at the overall right now that they were in the resign phase. So hopefully everybody goes up 1 or 2 overall once we start the season. So yeah, Lieutenant and Chung there with Kuznetsov. Chung, just because he's the sniper, he does fit a little bit better on the third line, but then it's a -1 for both lines. That's why Krog is down here on the third line with Delarouve and Gaucher. I wanted it to be Cullen, but then there's a minus, trying to avoid the minuses wherever possible. And then Jonas, Cullen, and Masterlurski. Now, the reason it's Jonas is because he played in Victoria, which means he cannot play in the AHL because he's 18. He would be sent down to the CHL. That's why he's got the call up. Same thing with Delarouve. Here you can see his draft year was with Guelph. He's only 19. He would get sent down to the CHL. Now, defensively, we have Koivu and Siegel with Ovechkin, Tuzolino, and Swanson, and Mikanov. Again, if we switch any of these D pairs here, it goes down. Like, we could do this, but what's the point? We may as well have this +1 for Siegel. And the reason why Swanson doesn't play up here, it would be a minus. Same thing here, it's a minus. Because Swanson, Tuzolino, and Siegel are all offensive defensemen. I did not realize that at the time when we drafted all these guys. So it's going to make things a little bit more complicated with the line chemistry, but we'll figure it out. And then in goal, we have Boris Semenov and Grigori as the backup. And I'm just going to show you guys the power play because this is the first year that I'm really paying attention to that. I stacked it here with all our best guys and then Sutter to try to get him some growth. And then the second power play, unfortunately, it's a -2. There's not a lot I could do unless I stack, like make it them be the exact same, but I don't want to do that. I want to give power play time to everybody. So this is what it's looking like. All right, guys, down here in the AHL, we don't have too many forwards. Hillen, he played in the NHL last year. He's getting the nod in the AHL. We have Gallagher, who we just drafted, as well as O'Dellin and Heikkinen. And then defensively here, we've got Moran with Curtis, Volchenkov there, and Henley and Bits. The reason why Amut is in is because we have Koryaluk up in the NHL as the injury replacement defenseman, and we will use Tony Nato and Marcel as the injury replacement forwards. So yeah, this is kind of what we've got down here in the AHL. And goalies, we've got Devin with Amelin, and Petrov is the scratch. All right, guys, we went ahead. We got preseason done. We're just going to hop right into the regular season. I did turn injuries on. The injury sliders for occurrence are only at 7. That is because this series is a little bit different where one season is one episode. So I don't want to have the injuries cranked too high that it delays things and makes the video longer than it needs to be, especially since in these early years, I really do want to show you guys the entire season sim. And there we go. We have back-to-back wins against Chicago and Vegas. 2-7 to start the year. Probably our best start to a season. But yeah, the injury sliders, the injury occurrence, it's turned to 7. and we can experiment with it. I also haven't done an injury. I also haven't done a franchise mode with injuries on yet. So this is kind of a test run. We'll leave it at 7 for this entire season. If we get 0 injuries, we'll up it to 9 for the next year, and we'll go from there. And I haven't even done any franchise modes yet offline, like not for content. I've only done them for YouTube so far. So yeah, I've only done them for YouTube so far. But here we go, guys. After 2 months, we are 6-16-1, which puts us in the bottom of the league. But we're there with teams. Like, we're only 1 point down off the Blues. We're only a few points off the Flames and the Ducks. Like, we're there. We are starting to get better. Let's take a quick look here at the edit line screen so we can see the overall. So McKenna up to a 90, Pugh up to an 83, Kuznetsov unfortunately down to that 84. But damn, guys, Suter already a 79 overall. Very good. Lutonen to 75, Chung and Krog at 69. Gaucher up to 75. Jonas is a 52 out the gates. Cullen still at a... Oh, no, sorry. Cullen is up to a 67. Delarue up to a 54. And Masterlurski only went up to a 69. Defensively, Siegel at an 89. Koivu went from 66 to 70. So there's a chance for him at top 6 low potential. Even Ovechkin at 71 with 7th D, there's a chance. Tuzzolino is an 81. And what's this X Factor he has? I actually can't see it, but I see he has it. Might be pressure up. Swanson is 76 overall. And then Mikanov is 73. Then goalies, Semenov is a 75. And Grigori up to a 71. So the team is coming together here, guys. Hillen is a 54. He was a 51. And now we know Gallagher at a 56. O'Dellin at a 54. And Heikkinen up to a 62. So I'm going to switch the lines around here. We're going to switch the lines up to look like this. I know there's a -1 here. I can't get rid of it, but Heikkinen deserves to play higher up the lineup. In fact, we'll put him on the second line with Gallagher. And defensively, Moran, he's our low elite D-man. He's up to 72. Curtis up to a 69. Moran and Curtis were both 70 and 66 respectively. Volchenkov is still a 67, I believe. Bitts up to a 65 from a 63. And Henley was 60, so he only went up by 1. Devin up to a 70, so that is nice. He was a 66. And Emelin was 58, so he's got some nice growth as well. And now we're just going to sim up to the trade deadline. That's when we'll take a more in-depth look at the stats, see how our boys are doing. And honestly, guys, I'm really happy with the way this season is going. At 8-18-1, I think 8 wins is now 9. That's the most wins we've had in a season. Correct me if I am wrong. And we're stringing some wins together here. We've got 4 wins already this month, up to 10-20-1. I'm really happy with the growth the team seems to be making. You know, we're still at the bottom of the league, but for a team that's completely drafted of our players to be doing this good, it's very exciting for me and makes me think, you know, maybe we're only 2 or 3 years away from the playoffs. Because at this point now, all we just need is a couple more NHL-ready forwards and a goalie. So things are looking really promising here in Saskatoon. Maybe 3 years for playoffs is a little bit of a stretch, maybe 4 or 5. But again, I'm trying my best to make sure this team is getting better, because this is a little bit of an interesting series where if we just keep losing and we just, you know, we're 10 years of losing, it might get a little stale. And I would like to avoid that. So again, trying to do my best with the scouting, trying to make the best draft choices possible for us to quickly get to be a playoff team. Because at the rate, because I would think with the way a series like this goes, once we're a playoff team, we really should stay there, depending on how long it takes. You know, we'll have enough prospects stacked in the cupboard that when one guy leaves, hopefully it's just as easy as bringing up the next guy. But yeah, very happy with the team here, up to 13 wins. Again, we're blowing our best record out of the water so far at double digit wins. Again, correct me if I'm wrong. I believe 8 was the most. And again, actually, I'll leave all this in, but I'm saying correct me if I'm wrong. I will go through the video through I will go through past videos and I'll compile the team record at the very end of each episode, starting with this one. I'll add a title card to the end that shows all our records as well as combined how many wins and losses our franchise has. But here we are at the trade deadline, sitting at 30 points, again, last in the league. We knew that was going to happen, but to see the growth some of the guys are having, obviously, for us to get to double digit wins, I feel very good. So we'll take a look here. McKenna, still, I would say, kind of a down year for him. He did have 63 points. He should get around there, but there with 44. Kuznetsov, only 37 points. You can see his best was 51. Hopefully he gets back to that. Pugh with 34 points here. This is a career year for him. And then Siegel with 33. Lutonen almost at 30. So he's looking pretty good. Sutter there as well, almost with 30. And Tezzolino with 25. That's pretty good for a newly drafted player. Already up to an 82. Gaucher with 24. Swanson, the rookie, with 20. And then you can just see here the rest of the guys. Only some of these guys here with just a few points. And then goalie-wise, Semenov, 11 wins, 36 losses, and really good save percentage there. Almost a 900, and only the 4 goals against. Same thing there with Grigori, who after 1 year as a starter is relegated back to the backup role. And you can see he's really not getting into too many games here. So we are getting a bit better defensively. All right, guys, taking a look at the draft class here, we got Robert Lundqvist. He is a medium franchise sniper. He's a center. Apparently similar style to Mikko Koivu. That's the guy that we definitely want. You can see Frazee here as a left wing, and there is a few centers. So hopefully we can end up finishing last in the league to guarantee us a top 4 pick, because that should guarantee us one of these centers. That is what we need to target. So yeah, after that quick little look at the draft class, we're going to get the rest of the regular season done. I'm going to trust my scouts this year to do all the scouting. I feel like they've already done a pretty decent job. Let's see what they can do. I do have scouts in every region that matters, so I want to experiment in this season, give them a chance to do all the scouting work and see how well of a job they can do. And all I'm hoping for is that the offense really starts to click for us. I don't care about wins and losses. I mean, obviously, wanting that first overall pick, the more games we lose, I would say the better. But it's not the end-all, be-all if we don't get it. And there we go, a shutout win, 6-0 against Vegas. We've beat them twice this year that I know of, so we might have their number a little bit. Up to 15 wins now after that win against Columbus. And all I can say is I get back-to-back wins there. I'm just proud of the growth this team has shown. I get 3 wins in 4 games. Like, these guys want to win. You can see it. They are trying their damnedest. Maybe we win 3 more games here and get up to 20. That's going to be the goal, though, I think, for next season now, is we've shown, okay, we've taken that step. We've gotten up to par more with some of the worst teams in the league. We're only going to get better. So let's make sure we take that next leap and get up to 20, 25 wins. You can see here, we are the worst team in the league. So we did fall off a little bit there. We are 25 points behind the Flames. But that's okay, guys. We definitely have the worst roster in the league. And we're going to go ahead here, take a look at our stats for the year. Kuznetsov, McKenna here with 62 points. Again, his high was 63, so we're getting there. Again, he's not playing with the most talent. You've got Maxim Kuznetsov here at 54 points. Siegel back up to 50. Liam Pugh, almost 30 goals there. He's a sniper, so that is nice to see. Lutonen, a career year for sure. 11 points higher than last year. 20 goals, almost 30 assists. Double-digit power play points. He's coming along. Zane Suter up to an 80. He's a depth forward now. He had a really good year. This is good. Tezzolino, let's see, he's still 82 now, top forward defenseman. Those stats look nasty, man. He's going to do big things next year. Gaucher, Chung, Swanson all down here. See Ovechkin, Krog, Cullen. So not a lot of points for these depth guys. And then goaltending wise, really good stats there from Semenov, almost the 900 with a 420 goals against. And Grigori able to get his goals against under 3, or sorry, get his goals against under 4. In the AHL, Emelin finished 16-4-2 with really good numbers there, and Devin was 24-28 with respectable numbers. Then taking a look here, you got Moran, Volchenkov with 50 plus points, really good seasons for them. Hopefully Moran can get some more growth. Same with Volchenkov here. Volchenkov is only a 67. And then it tapers off a little bit. And then forward-wise here, Heikkinen with 37 points. That's a decent year. Gallagher almost to 30 goals. Hillen, not too bad considering like he had 7 points last year. So to get him in the AHL, help him find his offense. And then Odell in there, tied for worst on the team with 12 points. And guys, we did actually make the playoffs in the AHL, surprisingly enough. And Kozak was 5th in the league with 76 points. This will probably be his last year in our organization. And Moran, actually with 53 assists, was 6th in the league. And once again, guys, we're playing Cleveland in the playoffs. They beat us the first time, we beat them. The second year, let's see if we can beat them again. We're down tied in the series and lose in 5 games. That's okay. We'll make a cut here now, and I'll pick this up when we see who the league leaders I will pick this up when we see who the league champions are. So the Vegas Golden Knights have won the Stanley Cup. Calder Cup goes to the Colorado Eagles. That is back-to-back for them, I believe. So we'll take a look here. We did get the second pick, so we miss out on Lundqvist, but we do guarantee ourselves one of the other centers. So we'll take a look at the draft class quickly before we end today's episode. So you can see here, we miss out on Lundqvist. So Frazee and Kerman are unknown. So taking a look here at Kerman, he's a power forward. We do not know his similar style, if he has one, or his potential. So to start off next episode, we will do the draft class interviews just to see. And then you've got Rammer here, center playmaker, 200-foot game, offensive creativity. He is smaller. His reach is not so good. A similar style to Nicholas Backstrom. I do think this is the center we should go for. I'm going to pin him as well as Kerman. And then we do have Zinger here, who's a DFD, as well as Nazarov. Going to pin those guys as well. Goalie-wise, you can see we don't really know a whole lot, but I don't think we need to focus too much on goaltending this year. And then just taking a look here at all forwards just to see, we've got a couple of low elites. Unfortunately, we won't be able to draft Sexsmith, but Percy will definitely add to the squad if he's available. Same as Anderson, one of these guys we will be drafting. And then there's a bunch of top 6 forwards. Unfortunately, they're going to go before we can pick. But Kaminsky there, we might be able to draft him as well. And then hopefully there's some top 4 defensemen. Efinaginov. I will pin these guys, but I don't think we're going to be able to draft all of them. So taking a look at our pins, this is the question that I need answered in the comments. Guys, please do comment if you're watching it. If you want to have an input, I do read all comments. I do try my best to respond to most comments, especially if you are providing me with some feedback on what you'd like to see. So do we go with a center here, or do we go with a DFD? Now, I know we did bring up at the start of the episode that we need a second line center. And while I do still highly agree with that, we do also need defensive defensemen, because our 3 NHL ready defensemen right now are all offensive. So that is a thought that eventually we're going to need a DFD. So I'm not saying we have to get them now, but maybe it's a good idea because ideally, there might always be a center available or a forward we can try to convert to a center, right? There's usually always a medium elite forward at the top end of the draft, not always a DFD, but who knows? That's why I'm asking, guys. I'm not too sure what I want to do. I do think the center wise, we definitely go for Rammer over Kerman just because Rammer's a playmaker. I believe Kuznetsov is a power forward who can score goals, and Pugh is a sniper. So if we're going to pair Rammer with Pugh or with Kuznetsov, we need a guy that can dish the puck. We're actually going to do the draft class interview for Kerman just so that we figure out his ETA. We'll go to play style. What is his readiness? He's NHL ready. We'll ask him again. Oh, so he says he's a power forward. Oh, never mind. We knew that. Sorry. For some reason, I thought this was Kerman. We did know that. Or no, I thought this was Rammer. Sorry. But yeah, we knew that Kerman is a power forward. And we'll just ask him about his personality. He's a professional and he gets along with everybody. So that's a good guy to have in the room, even if morale's not on. And there we go, guys. We can see that he is 3 bars medium elite. So he's guaranteed most likely medium elite. And that's just the reason I did that. I know I said I was going to do the draft class interviews in the next episode. I just wanted you guys to have all the information possible for you to best leave a comment on if we go again, the DFDs or the center, and then which one. Rammer or Kerman. And then defensively, I think it would just be Zinger. This guy's like Rob Blake. He's like Mark-Edward Vlasic, but Zinger is NHL ready according to this. And Nazarov is a 1-year ETA. But thank you guys so much for watching. Again, leave your thoughts down below. Who you think we should draft. And then also, guys, you've seen the lines as much as I have. Maybe give me some thoughts on line combinations. What do you think we should do? Should we pair McKenna with Pugh still and then go Kuznetsov with the center we draft? Or do we need to mix things up? Thank you guys again so much for watching. I appreciate all your love and support. It means the world to me. Make sure to like, subscribe, and YouTube will see you in the next one.